There's been a lot of talk about the peace memorandum reached between the White House and Tehran, with people rightly asking the question, what the heck is it? Is it a peace deal, an interim agreement, a preliminary arrangement, some sort of made-up type of document? Well, first let's break down the different types of peace agreements that exist. You see, there's several different international instruments that fall under the broad banner of peace agreements. They all vary in legal status, formality, and scope, and these include the following: peace treaties, interim peace agreements, temporary peace agreements, bounded agreements, framework agreements, and joint declarations. The U.S.-Iran Peace Memorandum is what we would call a framework agreement. So, what is that exactly? A framework agreement establishes pledges and expectations for proceeding with negotiations and implementation of certain terms related to the peace process. Importantly, framework agreements tend to leave out critical features of more comprehensive deals such as armistices or peace treaties, essentially putting off these elements for future negotiations. Often, peace agreements of this type are not called framework agreements. Rather, they may be characterized as agreements for bringing peace, or peace protocols, or, in this case, the Islamabad Memorandum of Understanding. We'll have to wait to see what the full text of the document states to analyze its potential effectiveness in this peace process, but the basic terms as we know from government reporting are as follows. The two sides will honor a 60-day ceasefire that extends to Lebanon. During that period, they'll work on negotiations towards a subsequent agreement that addresses Iran's nuclear program and potentially other issues. Iran will reopen the Strait of Hormuz and the U.S. will lift its own naval blockade. And the U.S. will release Iranian frozen assets, with additional funds being made available for Iran's reconstruction. There will be some pledges in the document. For example, President Trump has repeatedly stated that the memorandum includes Iran's affirmation that it will never build or purchase a nuclear weapon. But importantly, a memorandum of understanding is not a legally binding instrument. Rather, it's more like a set of guidelines for conduct going forward. The formal signing ceremony is supposed to take place in Switzerland on Friday, but let's keep in mind that there are still two wild cards in this peace process: Israel and Iran's hostile proxies such as Hezbollah. Either could take military action that disrupts the ceasefire and derails implementation efforts. In other words, we're not out of the woods yet. This is an ongoing process whose fate is still yet to be determined. We at Parley Policy will do our best to keep you posted. But in the meantime, thank you for joining us for this Parley Policy FIRE. See you again soon.